Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And happy Saturday.
This is not a fantasy. We are back.
You
We
said this
are
is not a
live.
fantasy.
We are back. We're back.
We have not done a show
Weeks.
in weeks, like almost a month.
Yeah.
So this is our first time back. We have a brand new studio. This is our first time in the studio.
It
looks
great.
awesome. You know, the decor, everything is nice. The space
Everything
is huge.
Beautiful.
It's nice. So I am very, very happy not only to be back, but to get a chance to finally see the studio that I've been seeing everybody talking about on social media and Facebook. So yes, if this is your first time ever watching, listening, we are a mother and daughter, and this show is called Let's Talk Woman to Woman.
That's right.
And this show, we talk about pretty much everything under the sun. We talk about fashion, we talk about beauty, talk about, celebrity, entertainment news, things that's going on,
Politics.
45. That as well. We talk about just anything under the sun. And so here on Let's Talk Woman to Woman is, like I said, it's a mother and daughter, and we are just giving our own perspectives on just everything. And my mom, if this is not your first time listening, she gonna give her perspective regardless. So
yes, I do.
So on this week's show, we have a topic that we want to talk about that we'll get into later. Talking about when love hurts and just how loving someone can either hurt you or them, and it's not just in a relationship, but just in all aspects. So we are excited to talk about that. But in the meantime, I thought we should tell you guys why we've been gone so long.
Well, truth be told, Brittany was was arrested.
Oh, just stop right there. That's a lie. Thank you. Let me go on and start telling the truth. We have been in the process of rebranding our bath and body care line, which is called Zuri Body Essentials, where elegance meets beauty. And so we have completely taken this brand to a different level. Thank you for everyone who supported, liked, comment, bought, shared, watched our lives, just anything. Please follow us at Zuri Body Essentials. That's NZURI Body Essentials on Instagram and Facebook. And
go check out our new website.
Yes, go check out our new website.
Our new website is amazing.
www.zuribodyessentials.com. And we have all different products. We have bigger sizes. It's just a whole new look, just in its entirety. And so that's what we've been working so hard on. So finally we can come back and talk to you guys. But just being an entrepreneur, as you know, Mom, and as fellow entrepreneurs know, that none of this is easy. And rebranding and just trying to figure things out and find your way, none of that is easy. But I'm just glad that we're on the other side of the initial process, because it's never over with.
It has been a rough ride. But it's been worth it. But it's certainly been a rough ride. Long nights, early mornings, re-strategizing and going back and redrawing the blueprint of it all. It has been a rough ride, but it's definitely it's been worth it to see our vision and what we had wanted to do all along. It's beginning to take a life of its own. And like Brittany said, we are so grateful to those that have shared our videos, that have shared our post. It's been amazing.
And, what we wanted to do with Zuri Body Essentials is to provide and offer a luxury spa experience wherever you go, whether it's at home, if you are on a trip and then you're at the hotel, or, you're constantly on the go and you're in the car and you need to put a little lotion or cream on your hands or feet or wherever. We want to give you that luxury, the ultimate spa experience wherever you go. And so that is our goal. And from what our feedback that we've been given or that we've been receiving, it's just been phenomenal. And everyone has said that that's exactly what we've did. So we're happy that we were able to achieve that. And so we have so much to, with so much that's in store for you guys. I can't wait to release it all. So just be on the lookout for that. Again, please follow us at Zuri Body Essentials. Yeah.
All right, girl.
So now that we got that out the way, we just ain't been at home chilling. Um, you made a really you asked me a really good question last night in regards to like all this shooting and the
Mm-hmm.
school shootings and the violence and the whole gun laws and all this stuff. Say what you asked me yesterday.
Well, about like you said, the latest shooting, and that's sad to even say within itself, the latest shooting
Mhm.
that was in the schools, and so my question to you was, and I said, I know that you're not a parent, but my question to you is, would you have a problem with your child standing up for and standing up against the lawmakers or the people that are refuse to stand up to the NRA because they're calling a walkout across the nation, and so some of the schools were saying that the students would be penalized if they chose to participate. And I personally, obviously you're no longer in high school, but I personally would support that. As a matter of fact, I would support it so much as I would show up on that particular day to show that I am in unity with what they're trying to do. And you had a very good point. You were saying that the kids that are now they're 17, 18 years old, and they're now becoming of age where they can vote. And these millennials, they're not going to tolerate this foolishness. People have for so long have swept things under the rug for the bottom dollar because of the NRA, and they're not wanting to address it because of their particular campaign is being funded. But you still have to do what is right. What if your child had died? So that's what we were talking about.
Well, and then I am in agreement as well. But another thing is taking a step further. I don't think that any school should, penalize these kids because they should be taking a stance
Yeah.
with the children,
Mm-hmm.
as well as the parents and the family, all of the faculty. And I mean, I understand it may possibly seem easier said than done, but if we all want to see a change and we're tired of looking on the news and seeing breaking news, 13 have injured and 10 dead, or all of that, then something needs to be done. And it's always a saying that only a stupid person will think that a change will come by doing the same things over and
Right.
over again, making
Right.
the same decisions over and over again. So somewhere down the line, somewhere we need to make a decision and to take a stance. And so I honestly think if we would have taken a stance back with Columbine
Mm-hmm.
or Virginia Tech
Mm-hmm.
or any other kind of
Sandy Hook.
shootings, even
Sandy
before
Hook.
Sandy
Right.
Hook,
Right.
if
Right.
we would have taken a stance before all of that, before it had gotten progressively
Mm-hmm.
worse,
Mm-hmm.
then the kids, those babies at Sandy Hook, they would be possibly going to what, fourth, fifth grade by now. And,
Right.
I mean, all of these different kids, some of those kids are getting ready to graduate back in Florida. And, I think that we can't keep letting this go on.
Well.
And it's gotten to a point now that it's not even just in the schools. You can't even go to the movie theater. I can't. It's a shame that I sit in the movie theater and I come to enjoy popcorn, candy, the movie, and the thought in my mind comes, at any time, someone could possibly come through this door and kill us all. That shouldn't even be something that occurs to me. But because that has happened, I mean, we have to do something about this.
Well, you and I have been in the mall, and we have said, okay, well, if something happens, let's kind of talk about our escape route right now because you just never know. But I think the key is, and we could talk about this until forever. The key is that when election time comes, that's when you allow your voice to be heard. You have to vote. You have to stop saying, well, my vote doesn't count. You have to vote and vote these people out of office that refuse to do what's right.
This coming election
Bottom line.
is the election where like you said, where your voice will be heard and your vote will definitely count. If
Absolutely.
you didn't vote for the presidential election, this election is the most important because it will affect you directly. These laws and different people that you have in place right now, if you want to see a change, we have to do something. do something
You
different.
have
It's
to
not
vote.
just
You have to
and,
vote.
and, and, and with this situation, it's not a particular race, it's not a gender, it's not a just a particular region or city. It's across the entire nation, and everyone is affected by this in some way, shape, or form. And to go back to your original question, yes, if I had a child that was in high school, grammar school, I would support that, because at the end of the day, it's about our kids' safety. And that just leads me to go into how Trump proposed this whole idea of having guns in schools. You know, why are we adding more guns to the equation? That just makes no sense whatsoever.
So he wouldn't piss off the NRA.
But I mean, let me just read this story real quick, and this would kind of help our at least get help my point. So, a Florida teacher by the name of David Swinia, he reportedly was suspended after after him telling his class that the kids should not date any African Americans because they are just not worth it. And
What?
yes, and so I'll read you the story. It says David Swinia, who is a math teacher at Kernan Middle School, and these are middle school kids. They're not high school kids. It's not college. These are middle school kids in Jacksonville, Florida, has been suspended for 10 days without pay after he reportedly used the N-word multiple times along with other violence. According to CNN, back in October of 2017, a student told a school board investigator that Swinia and other students were discussing relationships when he reportedly said, if your boyfriend says bad things to you and or treats you wrong, that just means he's acting like a N-word.
Wow.
According to the student's testimony, Swinia continued to say, you all should not be dating all these different African American boys because they're just not worth it. In a separate incident that took place back in August of 2017, students recalled Swinia using racist marks as well. According to the investigative report, he said, if my daughter was dating someone who used the F word, I wouldn't have any respect for that N word.
Wow.
So, I mean, you get the point where I'm going here. You have teachers who have animosity and who are racist towards whether they're African American or they're homosexual. They have this animosity and they feel a certain kind of way towards these kids. So why would you it's okay to give these teachers, the same teachers who feel this way about these kids or about people in general, a gun? And it's so many different ways things could go wrong with that scenario.
I think that was probably one of the stupidest things number 45 has said thus far. And he said plenty. But I think that ranks as the top, because there is absolutely no way possible. And if you want to flip it the other way, suppose you are a teacher and you sign up to say, yes, I think I can do this. I want to carry this gun. Are you really willing to kill someone else's child? Can you live with that?
I mean, if you're not, see, first of all,
I mean, that's just terrible.
That police officer who stood outside for 4 minutes while all of that was going on at that school, he was trained and had training, and he knows how to work a gun, operate a gun, and however long he's been in the police force, he didn't even go in. So what makes you think a school teacher who their solely job is to teach your kid, what makes you think that they should have the capability to have a gun? And I mean, I just think that when it's total chaos going on and there's clearly an active shooter in the school, and the moment a door opens, it could be a kid trying to come and hide. You shoot them because off of reflexes and you're scared.
Absolutely.
It's just so many scenarios how that can just go wrong.
It's just so stupid. It's so stupid. It is, and that was the best idea he could come up with, just to keep the NRA at bay and make them happy and satisfied. So he refuses to go against the NRA.
Well, that's just more money that would be for them, because if you are making a requirement that 20% of the teachers across the nation would be armed in school, then you're giving them more money. For one, you have to pay for the certification. And, I mean, just all of that. And it's just too much. There's no way that any student should feel afraid of any reason to go to school and learn.
No.
And it's just gotten out of hand. And I condone these kids because even when, I mean, the school shootings is nothing new because of Columbine, that happened back in the 90s. So even when I was in high school, no one in my, college years, that graduated around the same time I did, no one in my generation, it never occurred to us to take a stance for something like that. And these kids that are coming up behind us, they're getting smarter and smarter. They're not taking the mess. Hi, Naoki. They're not taking it.
Right.
And so, I condone them. I commend them. I am just.
I just think that was the stupidest thing he could have ever said. And like I said, he said plenty. And, we're going to definitely go into this later about this Russia investigation, and the progress that Mueller is making. And I think this man is doing a phenomenal job. Keep going, Mr. Mueller.
And just one other point, and that just goes back to in regards to the teachers. When I was in high school, there was a teacher who made a statement saying, I guess the kids were, a little rowdy or loud or whatever. And she made a statement saying, you guys are acting like a bunch of N-words that's hanging on the streets, hanging on the corner of Harvey. And anyone who's from the Chicagoland area, Harvey, Illinois is not the greatest place to live or walk down the street or whatever. But I mean, it could be pretty dangerous like other places can be. But for you to say something like that, do you think anyone who has that thought process should have a gun?
Well, you know what? Let me tell you something. I remember I was in my sophomore year high school, and I was laughing at something because it was funny, and I laughed. And it had nothing to do with the work, that we were particularly studying at the very moment. I was talking, but nevertheless, the person I was talking to, they said something funny, and I laughed. And so my teacher, Miss Jackson, I'm sure she's gone home to be with the Lord by now because she was a little old.
I was going to say, what makes you think that?
But she said to me, you know what? You will never amount to anything. And then I really thought that was funny. Because and so that just kind of goes to show you that, the teachers some of them are racist, some of them are, prejudice in all sorts of ways, and they have absolutely no reason. That's the wrong person that you want to have armed with a gun.
And even outside of racism or anything else like that, like you just said, and how I said, sometimes teachers can get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And because and then, I mean, come on now. It's been times where they just overwhelmed. They just can't take it no more. How do you know that they like, enough is enough? I'm finna kill all of them.
Well,
you just never know that.
And that did happen, right? Like right after 45 made this suggestion, then there was a teacher who barricaded himself in a classroom and began to shoot. It's like, dude, what are you doing? Literally days after he made this announcement. And so I thank God that, I had parents that instilled in me, like I did with you, there's no one better than you, but yet you are better than no one else. My father said that to us almost daily. And that just built my confidence and self-esteem. When Jackson said to me, you know what, you will never amount to anything, I really thought that was funny. She really got mad at me then because, I'm thinking about some lady bye, please. But to suggest that a teacher or a custodian or
that's just not their job
should be armed and strapped, that is the most ridiculous thing. And I'm gonna tell you something. If my child, if I had a grandchild or anything that went to a school and this is something that they were now doing, I would pull them out of that school.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely pull my child out of that school.
So I commend you kids. I commend your family, especially if they're standing behind you. And I mean, you know what? Honestly, it's no different back when the 50s and 60s, like I said last night. It's no different when those kids, whether they were children or they were in college, they took a stance for something that they believed in. And now it did take time, but because of what they did, now we're able to go to school. We're able to do things that we weren't at one point in time we weren't able to do. So I feel like that if we keep doing it, if the kids, they keep making a stance, and we all as a collective nation make a stance with them, a difference will come. But we have to really hit them hard and hit them where it hurts in order for them to be like, okay, we have to do something.
of office. That's how you're gonna get their attention. Vote them out of office. That's exactly how you do it. You get their attention.
You said something on 2020 last night.
Oh my goodness! So I was watching 2020 last night, and this was really sad because back in some years ago, in the 60s, there was an organization, and it was called the Louise Wise Services. So this service, they were an adoption agency, and what they did was people that had twins that adopted the twins out, this organization would separate and not allow the twins to know, obviously, or the parents that adopted these children to know that there was an identical twin that existed. And so this was so heartbreaking. And so then what they did for years, they would visit these families and study them and to see if by them being separated, if they still had certain traits that, that were similar. And so this one lady, how it all came out, this one lady, she was on her deathbed and she called this man and she said, I could get in trouble if I had lived to, if I live and tell you this, but I know that I'm dying. You have an identical twin. And so he began to research, and they would not reveal this information. This organization, they would not tell him, who this other person was. So 2 years went by. He finally found his identical twin, and it ended. Everyone that they interviewed, they were able to successfully find their twin. And in each case, they were identical. And I think in one situation, they were triplets. But this guy, what was really so nice about the story, he and his identical twin brother, they got married in the same year. They both coached, I think it was either baseball or soccer. This other group, this other two ladies that were twins, identical, their sons were named, they had the exact same name of their sons. They were born within, a year of each other. And the men, they did not, neither one of them like condiments on their burgers or hot dogs. So they still had similarities. But the thing that, that they were talking about on the show is that how this organization made a decision for people, and it affected their lives. It hurt so many people.
They made a decision to separate
exactly
these families and not inform their adopting parents that they had a twin. And so in order to do a study for some scientific reason, they separated these children, and for pretty much all of their lives, they did not know that they had a twin.
That's what I just said.
But I was just saying it in a more clear way because it was just.
Oh, okay. You didn't get what I was saying. Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
So that's just, I feel like that. How could you separate someone's family? I mean, just for money, or
for research. That's how they thought. They did not take into consideration their feelings, their how this was going to affect them long term. They were only interested in case study. They were only interested in the scientific nature of it, which is sick. How do you make that decision that affects someone else's life? That's sick. Wow. You don't have that right to do that.
No, you don't. So what ended up happening to this company?
I think they're out of business now. The people that organized it, they have since died.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So were they able to reconnect?
Some of them. Some, not all.
I mean, when you think about it, you don't know this person all your life. You don't know them.
You don't know. I mean, it's just like if I was born and I was adopted and I had and I found that I had an identical twin at the age of in my 50s. What? I have an identical twin? Are you kidding?
Because you said that happened in the 60s. So yeah, so they're like adults.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. That's sad.
It is very sad. I mean, I just don't understand. I don't understand. But moving along, I just thought that I just wanted you to share that story because I was just taken back by when you told me last night. I'm going to say last week. Last night. I was so taken back by that. I just couldn't believe that. But, yeah. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. So listen, we're going to continue to showcase a woman of the week, and I found this lady.
Especially with this being Women's Week,
I
Woman
know.
History Month.
Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Melissa M. Freeman. She is 91 years old. She's a medical doctor, and she is the granddaughter of a slave. This lady is, if you go on Facebook, you can see her video. She is the cutest lady. She is still practicing medicine.
At the age of 91.
At the age of 91, she is a Bronx native, and like I said, she's the granddaughter of a slave from Virginia. Her maternal grandfather is Mr. Albert B. Walker, and was separated from his mother at the age of 7.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
Oh my God. Her grandfather later moved to New York, where Dr. Freeman's parents eventually bought the home where she grew up in the section of the Bronx. And so she is still practicing medicine. She said, I have a little aches every once in a while. She said, but I still don't feel my age. She said, I've had friends to say, what are you doing? Why are you working? And why are you still treating people? And she says, because she has a love for people. And she says, someone has to do it. And then not enough people are doing it. I'm not stopping. People have asked her if she's going to retire. She said, absolutely not. I'm not ready. It's been a nice journey, and I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Oh.
So Dr. Melissa M. Freeman, you are our woman of the week. She is the cutest woman, 91 years old, a medical doctor. That's amazing.
And she has truly dedicated her life to give back and to ensure that everyone, that her patients have good health. Now, me personally, if I'm just personally speaking, I don't know if I have a 90-year-old woman being my physician. Because, a lot of things you can, now I'm not saying all, but a lot of things could kick in. You may start forgetting stuff. Your hands is not as sturdy. Well, I mean, and most times nurses typically take shots and everything else like that. So we ain't got to worry about that. But I mean,
the other thing about it is
you got to worry about your health.
Right. The other thing to take into consideration is that technology has advanced.
Yeah.
And so, is she able to
keep up
with the advancement of technology?
I mean, 91. And I mean, I feel like I think she deserves to be Woman of the Week because, like I said, she is truly dedicating, not like dedicated, because she's dedicating her life to give back and to ensure people are healthy. But I just don't know. That's like great grandma age. Like, I just don't know if I would want a 90-year-old woman to be my physician. But there again, if she's an actual doctor, then she's not giving shots.
Right.
But she's prescribing prescription and everything else. I mean, I don't know. Dr. Melissa, don't take it personal. But I mean, I just don't know. If me personally, I want somebody a little more fresh.
Something else and you get,
okay. I thought I wrote, I want somebody where it's a little more fresh in their head rather than.
I'm sure.
When did you go to school? When did you go to school for this? That was a long time ago. Don't you need to brush up on some of your education? I mean, she might be doing that. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, that's
would you answer the question? Would you want Dr. Melissa at 91? We're not even gonna say, but would you want a 90-year-old person to be your physician?
No, I can't say that I would.
I mean, I just would not feel, because I would be second guessing. I'd be going back getting, a second opinion. Because, I mean, you just never know. She may tell you got stage 4 cancer and it's, something completely different.
You can have gas.
Exactly. So I just don't know. I don't know. I mean, anyway. I could be wrong. Miss Melissa, she could be doing her thing. Clearly, she's still in practice.
And she still rides the train.
Wow.
She still rides the train to her office in New York from the Bronx.
So she's very active. So she's probably one that exercise.
Because I have been on the trains in New York. And so I give you, a shout out for that, Dr. Freeman. She still rides the train to work every day.
Well, long as she's healthy, then I guess she could do it. But that was just my personal opinion.
I don't know. Would you second guess your thoughts on her being able to, to take care of you?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I would want somebody to be a 91.
But I'm saying, the mere fact that she takes the train, that tells you that she still has it. So do you have any regrets in saying that you didn't?
No, because then I look at it like you probably a little winded after you done got off that train. You might need to sit down for a minute. I mean, I could be wrong. But that's just how I personally feel. With my experience,
I hate to see how you gonna treat me when I get to be a senior citizen.
No, you're not the physician. She's the physician at 91. I'm just thinking about all the things that I've encountered with elderly people and the things that they can't do. So like I mean, what? Which is why she's woman of the week, because clearly she done broke the mold with that one.
She sure has.
I mean, if you can, yourself, you know what? On the news the other day, I saw a 70-something-year-old woman. I think she was like 76, and she was pole dancing. And she be swinging up around there. And she calls it exercise. Girl, so I mean, you know what? If you can do it, by all means. But I don't know if I'll do it.
I don't know what I'll be doing.
Your insurance probably be all high and everything.
Well, I mean, hey, obviously.
Could you see yourself doing pole dancing exercises at the age of 75?
I think I'm gonna. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wait until I turn 80, and I'm gonna take up pole dancing.
Okay. We're gonna go proceed on. We're gonna proceed. I can't see you doing it now. Just say that.
Well, wait till I get 80. So why you said I'm not limber enough?
No. I'm not even gonna lie. No, you're not. You're not limber.
Yes, I am. I mean, we've been going to the gym.
We're not even gonna get on that, but
have we not?
We've been going to the gym, but that don't mean that you're able to hop on the pole and just get the swing. I never said I could.
Well,
never said I could.
You this way. When you get up there, I get up there.
Oh, okay. How about
that? I'll meet you at the pole.
Let's stop talking about poles. I don't know what somebody just to start tuning in, and they like, what are they talking about? No. So we wanted to talk about today when love hurts. And just all aspects of it. What does that mean? And, how that just, so I thought of, breaking it up in 3 different ways. And because, I feel like automatically when you think of when love hurts, people think of romantic relationships. I think that's just, with anyone. Mm-hmm. But it can also apply to friendships, and it can also apply in your family as well. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that we should definitely, talk about, because someone could be going through it, went through it, or either they're the ones that's hurting or they're the one that's hurting someone else. So I thought we could talk about that. Did you want to start?
No, I don't, because
I'm surprised. I thought you was going to say yes.
Well, when we first started talking about what we were going to talk about, I thought that we were going to just like focus on relationships. And then when you mentioned it last night, about, love hurts in friendships, love hurts in the family. And that is very true. And so we'll end up with the relationship because that's the most common area, right?
We could just go on in. So in regards to like family, I think that it can go both ways. Either it could be a scenario where you have a son or daughter that's either on drugs or, prostitution or whatever. And just long story short, that their life is not on the road or on a good road.
Right.
And they're, they have been caught in situations where either life threatening or, they're in jail or whatever. And so, I think that love can hurt in that aspect because, for one, sometimes you have to let people go in order for them to get right themselves. And the person that you're letting go can look at it as like either you don't care about me and, you don't love me anymore, or, why aren't you looking at, but, because you can be enabling them if you're there for them. And I mean, if I don't know, it's a different way you could be enabling them, but sometimes I feel like you have to just be able to let them go.
Well, coming from the standpoint of a parent, I can only imagine how difficult it would be if you know that your son or your daughter, is involved in activity or a lifestyle that is not conducive to their health, regardless to what that activity
would
be.
What it is.
And so it takes a lot wherewithal to say, you know what, I can't support this, and still be able to fluff your pillow at night, because no matter what, how old your child is, that's still your child, and you're going to always, most parents anyway, will always love their child unconditionally. And one thing I wanted to also say is that during this journey, us being a mother daughter, we have run into so many people that have said that they don't have a good relationship with their mom, or, whatever. And we were a little taken back by that, because, we know how we are with each other. We just automatically assumed. And so when you have a situation where you don't have the support or the relationship with your mom, or, or your siblings, I think that you have to work on you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you focus, and that can be across the board of any other thing we're going to talk about when love hurts, um because if you have to start with you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to validate yourself, because one thing I have truly learned in this journey called life is that people will disappoint you. You cannot depend on the applause. They will applaud you one day, and stab you in the back the next. And so you have to take yourself off this emotional roller coaster and say, you know what, I am enough. I can do this. And if they support you, fine. If they don't, that's fine too. And it goes the other way, because there are some people, women, that may not have the support of their family, and you still have to find it somewhere, somehow, to build yourself up. And one thing that I was also thinking about with us talking about this is, like, if you find yourself in an abusive relationship, most importantly, find a safe way. We're not going to suggest anybody just leave. You always have to find a safe way to escape. But the bottom line is that you have to leave. Get your plan in action, contact the appropriate authorities or agencies, to find a safe place to go. But most importantly, do not allow this person to continue to dictate how you see yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. Going back to in regards to family, when we initially went into it, I spoke about like how it could hurt in regards to like a mother with their child or a father with their child. But, even with being an entrepreneur or just you starting a new venture, whether it's reading just anything, and you're not getting that support that you think you should get from your family, I feel like that can hurt. You can, that can mentally be, draining to you. I feel like you can feel like you're all alone. I mean, you still love your family, but I mean, then on the flip side of that, I feel like the family who's not supporting you as in the way that you would imagine, they may look at it in a way, well, I am supporting you in the way I know how, or they may not. I don't know. I'm trying to find a way that I can really say it. They may not believe in what you are doing.
Well, and everybody doesn't see your vision.
Right. Right.
And so, because everyone doesn't see your vision, then it would be difficult for them to jump on board with what you're doing. And the other part to that is that because they know you. They know you so well, and they can't really see you doing what you say you're going to do, you know?
Right. And so I feel like that could be, that could get complicated in family situations and in other situations where, you love that person, but it's like, hey, I want that support from you and you're not giving me that support. I feel like that can go in friendships, romantic relationships, and as well as friendships as well. Mm-hmm. Another thing, what is your opinion on the topic of love hurts in regards to friendships?
Wow. Because I'm going to be very transparent. I've had some close friendships, to go completely south, and I'm a very private person. I don't really warm up to people. I watch people. I kind of like to study people before I really sort of, I'm friendly, but I don't really open up. And when I do allow you in my inner circle, and you take advantage of that, that hurts. And I've had someone that was someone that I really considered a very good friend, very, very good friend that I had known for a very long time. We hung out, we kicked it, we did all kinds of stuff together. Um, and this person literally, I mean, took, as you know, took a dagger and just stabbed me in the back. It hurt. It really hurt. And honestly,
Well, they ain't literally take a stab, but
well,
you
you're
said
right,
literally.
you're right, you're right.
You don't
Thank
have
you.
any stab
No, you're
wounds.
right. Not literally. Not literally. You're right. Thank you so very much. No, you're right. You're right. Not literally. But they stabbed me, and they did everything they could to hurt me. When, as you can so testify, you and I were just talking about this, and you were saying, if I didn't know any different, I could swear that you really did something to this person, when I did absolutely nothing to this person for this person to do what they did to me. I didn't deserve it, and it hurt me so bad. I mean, it literally hurt me to my core, because this is someone that was like really, really close to me. And how I got over that is I literally prayed and asked God to show me how to forgive this person, because what I realized is, forgiving that person wasn't about that person, it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I refused to allow that situation hostage. And I just had to literally work hard on forgiving that person. Now, will I ever have any interaction with that person? Absolutely not. Will I ever be friends with that person again? Absolutely not. But I will, I've moved on. I can be in the same room with the person and it not affect me. As a matter of fact, I have been in the same room with the person, and that other person is more uncomfortable with me being there than I am. So that's friendships. Yeah.
I even think when I think of love hurts in regards to friendships, I also think about how you are friends with someone that you really shouldn't be friends with, and they could be bringing you down in all aspects of your life, and they have a really bad influence on you. And a lot of cases you've been friends with this person for a very long time, or you from what you think you guys click, and it just and you're kind of like almost in denial that you shouldn't be this person's friend. You're thinking, oh no, this is my friend, this, that, and the other. But when you looking at it from another set of eyes, anyone else can see that you really shouldn't be this person's friend. They're not good for you.
Right.
They don't support you, or they talk about you, or they don't just have just overall good intentions for you in general. And so that's what I think about when love hurts in regards to friendships, because, I mean, of course, like I said, just as an example, say if me and you were like best friends outside of us being mother and daughter, and, you had this horrible influence on me, you weren't supporting me, it just, every time I was with you, I either get into a fight or get arrested. I mean, it's just, you were bringing me down.
The relationship is toxic.
Mm-hmm. And that can be for friends,
right.
family. I mean, all of this really can apply to one another. But when I think of when love hurts in regards to friendships, I truly think about something like that. Like, a toxic relationship that of your friend that you don't want to let go, because you think that I've been knowing this person for a long time, and what you may think they're loyal, but they're really not. And, that could be hurtful to kind of distance yourself from them, but to even realize that you thought this was your friend, and then at the end of the day they really weren't.
Right. And making a decision to distance yourself from that, because
having discernment in it and being able to make the decision,
right.
saying like, you know what, okay, I'm seeing all the signs. At some point, I need to realize and come to terms with, you're just not a person that is for me, and vice versa. I'm just not the person that's for you, and this friendship is not working for both of us.
And be prepared, because the danger in that stand is that they're going to all of a sudden, oh, now she thinks she's better than me, or he thinks he's better, or this, that, and the other. No, it's not me being better. It's just me knowing that I'm going in a different direction than where our current relationship is. And that is not an easy decision to make. It's not easy to take the veil off and see people for who they really are.
And sometimes you have to just see things for face value.
You do.
Sometimes that's all you got to do. It ain't there's nothing deeper than that.
Yeah.
And you just got to just recognize that. And I mean, And then last but not least, for obvious reasons, when love hurts in regards to relationships. What are your thoughts on that?
There again.
Romantic relationships. We've been talking about relationships this whole time.
Right. There again.
And this is for woman,
Right.
man, woman, man.
You know, I think at some point in our lives, we've all been in a relationship, a romantic relationship that was not good for us. And you can't you have to see through the smoke screen and just see it for what it is. If
There
you
again
know
about face value.
face value, whether we're not even going to talk about the abusive side of it, because that's the obvious. There's all type of things, like you said, where if this person is berating you or not supporting you,
Or
and
just
it's not even a
or
financial
just not even
support,
respecting
emotionally,
you.
Respect, because I'm big on respect. Respecting you, that it circles back to self-esteem and self-worth. It's a hard decision to make, but you have to see it for what it is and move past that. And because I think sometimes, not all, but I think sometimes when women are afraid to leave a situation or a romantic relationship that they know is not good for them, they are afraid of being alone. And you can't, you cannot live in fear of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it without this person. I need their support, or
I'm
no,
lonely.
yeah, I'm gonna be lonely. I'm gonna be at home by myself. So what? Find yourself. That's when you should find yourself.
That's the prime time, the perfect time
to find
that
yourself.
You will. And when you come out of situations like that, you will find that you will learn and learn about yourself more than you ever have. Like, I know that when I've came out of situations that I had to evolve and seriously mentally grow up and have a completely different mentality in order for me to keep moving forward and stay on track and prioritize things that really matter. And that goes back to when you talk about like just self-esteem, self-love, and self-care. You got to do that before you try to love anybody else. You got to love yourself before you try to love your mama, before you try to love your kids, your husband, friends, just anything.
You know what, you just said something that I want to comment on. You were saying that you've had a situation and it taught you, and I think that's sometimes it's good for us to experience not abusive relationship, but a relationship that when you experience it should bring something out of you. It should mature you. It should it shows you the direction that you don't want to go, and it will guide you into the direction that you do want. You do know that you don't want a man or a woman that's in your corner that doesn't support you emotionally, that is disrespectful. So then you find a person that is respectful. You find a person that will encourage you along the way. And so it's not always a bad thing when you experience a bad relationship, whether it's friendship or whether it's romantic. That's not bad.
It's just what you get out of it.
What you learn, in that valley moment, and that's key. That's key.
And the scary thing is if you keep putting yourself in these situations, but you're not learning from them.
Yeah. You go from one to the other, and you're not.
And you're in the same situation.
Right.
You're pretty much dating the same person, just look different.
Right. Same person. They doing the same thing.
And that's for men and women.
Right. They're doing the very same thing that the other person did, but they just a different person, but the same behavior. Yeah, that's when it's time to say, you know what? That's it. That's all.
That's it. That's all. And so with that being said,
that's it. That's all.
I hope that we kind of hit some key points that either you can identify with or just, just really pretty much just that you can identify with, because I feel like that all of those, I feel like when you think of when love hurts or just love and, and how it could be hurtful, you never really think about those three different avenues where, it's always the basic where it's just romantic relationships or romantic situations and abuse or, but I feel like that can go for family and friendships. And with this year, 2018, with all that being said, I feel like that, if you're going through something similar to what we've just discussed, you need to learn how to push through it. And just like I said, self-care and self-love is the best thing that you can do for yourself. And you can't love nobody else, before you take care of yourself. And that's just even with health, and just try to be all about you. I feel like a lot of times we get so caught up in trying to take care of other people, take care of other things. We have multiple businesses and brands, and you still can't get away from taking care of yourself. I told my mom the other day, I said, Mom, I just need a day where I do absolutely nothing. Just nothing. Yeah. And so she said, yeah, I don't know when we're gonna get that, but because sometimes you need that. You need where you just seriously not doing anything at all, and you just need just clarity.
Recharge yourself.
Because
I mean, when we leave here, we're vendors tonight,
exactly.
At an event. So we're constantly moving in there. But like you said, you do have to take time out for yourself. And so listen, what you can look forward to seeing in shows coming. We're going to have some very controversial topics.
Yes. We have various topics, as you guys know, if this is not your first time ever listening or hearing, but different people from two different generations, with two different perspectives, and we're going to bring it. And, it's maybe some things that we may agree on, and maybe some things that we may not agree on.
And mostly my opinion and my perspective is usually the one that's right.
No, and, that's not true at all. She's starting already. That is not true at all. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's just about me.
It's always about who's right or wrong.
So I hope that you enjoyed the show. Please share, please like and follow our pages. Please follow our Instagram and our Facebook page, Zuri Body Essentials. If you tried our products before, please leave us a review on Facebook. And share this post. Share with your friends. Someone may need to hear it, may a baby identify or feel blessed by it. And yes, I hope you enjoy it this weekend.
Be on the lookout. We have some amazing things that we're coming out with. We're so excited. I cannot wait until next couple of whenever we're gonna put it out there.
Yes.
Real soon.
So happy Saturday. I hope everyone has a prosperous week. A very, very productive week. And until next time, thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Talk Woman to Woman right here on IntellectualRadio.com.